If you've clicked on this video, you're probably eager to know how I gained over 310,000 followers on Instagram, how it boosted my sales to the point where now I have complete sellouts. If you want to know step by step how I gain followers and make sales, keep watching this video. Hi, my name's Becky, and if you're new here, I make suncatchers and suncatcher DIY kits with video tutorials. I started Veneer Creations in 2017, and since then it has become a full-time successful business. You've probably already had lots of advice on how to grow an Instagram account, and it can get so confusing, which will put you off doing it in the first place. But I'm here today to show you step by step. The first thing we're going to look at is how to set up your Instagram page. So we're going to look at your profile picture, your bio, your highlights, all the good things that are going to get you some sales on your Instagram account. Then I'm going to talk you through how I plan my time effectively and work smart and not hard, and I make the most of the time that I have. When I'm making content on Instagram, I work in stages, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. And most importantly, I'm going to show you how to make content that is going to help you grow and make you sales. First, I'm going to show you how to set up your Instagram page. So if you would like to do this along with me, please feel free to pause the video as we go along, and I'm going to show you how to do this over on Instagram. So here is my Instagram profile, and the first thing you're going to want to do on your Instagram profile is get a really good profile picture. For me, I've got a picture of me and then the thing that I make, which is a sun catcher. If you do have something that's quite striking that you make, or something that's looks really good in a picture, it's really good to have that as your profile picture. Or maybe you've got a really strong logo, so that's a really good idea to have it up there. I'm just going to show you a few examples of good logos. So here you've got gauntlets and gowns at the top there. You've got Mosaic Medical. These are all different kinds of businesses, but as you can see, you can read exactly what they are. You can read what it says and who that business is. Finch Bakery there, Flower Studio, just really good example of good profile pictures. And then you've got like some artists on here who just have the picture of themselves, like Catnip there. You've got Creatorholic. Catnip's done both. She's put her logo and she's got a picture of herself and she's got a picture of her work. That's brilliant, I think, that for a profile picture. Then the next thing you want to do is your bio. For me, I just work to a simple formula of who, what, where, why. So who, I'm an artist, Veneer Creations, it says that there. What do I sell? The most important thing that you sell, I think, should be at the top. So DIY crystal suncatcher kits. That's my main item, that's what I mainly sell. And then create beautiful handmade suncatchers with video tutorials. Just makes it a bit clearer what I do and that it's video tutorials. Then we're UK based. This is something that really bugs me when I go onto someone's profile and I can't tell where they're from. Sometimes I really like to know where the person's from and if they ship worldwide as well. That's a big thing for me. And then a call to action is always a good idea. So purchase here and then little arrows down, just making sure people know where I mean. And then sometimes like a strong statement. Some people like to put like a strong statement out there. Depends on what your business is and what you want to do, but that's just a really good idea of where to start with your bio. Then you can see that I've got a small business chat there. That's something that we could probably talk about in the future, but you can now set up like a little chat, which I think is really good for a small business to do. Like you might want to put like ask me a question here or something like that. But the main thing I want to get into right now is your story highlights. Some really good ideas for story highlights is to put a section for about you. So you might put a section with all about you, a section of frequently asked questions, a section for your reviews, your products. So I'll just show you a few that I've done now. So I've got my YouTube diaries there. So these are stories that I've done over time. And as you can see, they've all got a link to my YouTube channel. So every single story's got a link to my YouTube channel. So if somebody wants to know where my YouTube diaries are, that's where they are. Then you've got your frequently asked questions. So I've just started this now where I've started putting my frequently asked questions up there because I get asked so many questions. This is just an easy way for people to get them answered quickly. And then I've put like a link again in every single one. So there I've put a link to my Patreon because that's where I share my wholesale information. And here I've put a link to my website because that's where I sell all my stuff. Then yeah, my YouTube tutorials, they've done the same thing. My Patreon, I've done the same thing. Audiobooks, that's just something that I personally love to do. I like to review books and put it on there. I just find it fun, and my audience does too. Customer DIYs, DIY kits, reviews, and then it just goes on to like my book and then just like personal things like my studio. So yeah, that is how to set up your Instagram page. So now we're going to get into the good stuff. Plan your time. Now for me, I'm quite a sensitive person, so if I don't do this step, I can become overwhelmed, frustrated, and it just gets too much. You want to set yourself up to win, so this step is really important. You want to look at things like the weather, depending on what you sell. Personally, I sell suncatchers, so I need a really sunny day. You might want a bright overcast day, but natural light is really good for making content, so that is always a good one to keep in mind. I find it really hard if my husband and my son are in the house when I'm filming, so I will plan a time when they're out of the house where I can film this content. Now for me, it's a bit easier now because I'm self-employed, but in the beginning, I used to find a time when maybe Loki was in a class or at a birthday party, and then I planned that time in on that day. So now we're going to look at inspiration and look at other artists and see what they do on Instagram to gain followers. So first I'm going to go into the search engine and I'm going to go onto handmade jewellery. Right, so handmade jewellery, again, somebody showing how they make their item. 66,000 likes on this. Lots of engagement. Look how many comments. As you can see, it's like literally nearly every single post that's a DIY post showing how you've made your item. And I just personally think it's just a really good idea for a handmade business to do that. Oh, so this one isn't. She's just showing the item. She's showing how you put it on. She's showing it on a... Then she's showing the DIY. So yeah, it's hard to show something that's not a DIY. So this lady's just showing... She's got 14,800 likes. And she's just showing her earrings. So, like, as you can see, you don't have to do... This is quite a simple way of doing something that's really, really easy. And it's done well. DIY. I don't want to keep showing you DIY videos because even though they are brilliant, I want to show you, like, different ones. Oh, so this is just showing how to use the product. These are well cute. It's DIY again. This lady's showing how you put her hair clips in her hair. So yeah, this is what you should do. Just keep going through videos on Reels and just get ideas of like how you can film your own content. A good one that I always like to put is crystals. So we can't do that because we don't mine our own crystals. So this is one of them that's like a very short video and they put like 50 million year old water trapped inside quotes, something really interesting, and they're just like... People are just watching it and watching it and watching it because they want to look at it. And that's had 200,000 likes. Just showing the crystals off. That's a huge crystal. So this is a good thing. This is a good way. Just showing each crystal what it does. So this is really what I want you to do, is just go through and look what people do. Always look at the ones that have gone viral and done well. These Instagram small businesses have already done the hard work and seen what works. This works because it's so shiny. Like, you can see, just think in your head, what is it about that video that makes you want to watch it? This is probably because it's so beautiful, like the rainbow colours in that. She's gone out into the forest and she's filmed. It's gorgeous. I want to watch this. See, I'm not scrolling because I actually wanted to watch that. So if you don't scroll past, this is just showing like a really nice setup of her crystals. So yeah, that's just how to get your inspiration. So once you've got your inspiration, then you can go on to filming. Before you begin filming your content, you're going to want to make sure you've got everything ready. Sometimes I use a tripod or an overhead tripod like this. These overhead tripods are great for showing DIY reels, which do really, really well on Instagram and TikTok. I always make sure that I have string, scissors, hooks, and somewhere to hang my suncatchers. Sometimes that can just be a rail, or I can hang them from hooks in the ceiling. I'll link down below my full ideas list of everything I use to film my content. So before I start batch making my content, I always make sure I do test shots. So I will go around with my camera and see what angles look good. Something that looks good to the eye doesn't always look good on camera. For instance, if I'm filming a sun catcher, if I'm going kind of like too high up and the sun is behind it, you can't really see that sun catcher properly. Where if I go further down and I've got maybe a black background, I can see the sparkles on it more. This is why it's important to do test shots. Otherwise, you're going to film a lot of content before you even realise it would have looked better in a different position. This will work differently for different products, so make sure you move around, take some test shots. The good thing about test shots is it takes the pressure off it being perfect. Sometimes you'll even get a good shot with a test shot, but it just takes that pressure off and makes you really set up and you know where you're going to take your pictures. When I'm confident that I've got a good shot, then I'll start filming my actual content. I do have more videos on my Patreon on how I do this, so if you'd like to join the small business tier, the link will be down below. And I have lots more videos over on our Patreon sharing my advice on how to run a small business. So when you've filmed your content, personally what I do is I'll take a break for a while because it can get a little bit overwhelming doing it all at once. I just want to quickly show you what I mean when I say batch make your content. So this is all the content that I made in one day. So I took all these little clips of videos in one session, and sometimes I take more than this. This was only like probably an hour's session. Normally I would take twice as many, so it all depends on how much content you want to get. But yeah, this is what I mean, like you don't just take one video, you're taking several different videos from several different angles. So you'll take one from that angle, then I'm taking one from that angle, and then I do I'll take pictures of products together, and I'll take pictures of products next to each other. Like I'm taking lots of different content because I want content for the whole week. I don't want content just for one day. Different angles. Like I've not actually posted this one yet because I don't know if people will like it, but I'm going to try that one later in the week. So this is what I mean when I say batch make content. I also at the same time take my listing photos. These have now been edited in my editing app. And I show the process of how to do this on my Patreon too. But I'd also take all these images at the same time. Now you can edit all your content in the Instagram app, but personally I like to use KineMaster. There's lots of different editing apps that you can find online, but I love KineMaster and I've used it for years. So once you've got your editing app, you want to sit down and edit. In the beginning, this is when I was on my break at work, on my dinner at work, if I was waiting for an appointment. If you do things like use the bus, use the train, these are perfect times to edit your content, especially if it's just visual content and not talking. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll set off early to pick my son up from school, and then I'll have a nice half an hour in the car, get the best parking spot, and then do all my editing on my phone while I'm waiting. This works perfectly for me because there's nobody knocking on my door, there's nobody to distract me, and I can really get into the editing process. Now next you want to find some viral sounds, and make sure you are following the arrow up button, which I'll show you an example of that now. So you're going to scroll through and look for a sound that goes with your product, and look for the up arrow at the bottom, which shows you that that sound is viral. This definitely works. Another tip is going into the sound and seeing how many views recent posts have got. So look at the posts on the top of that, click on them, see when they posted that and see when they got them views. Sometimes you can get a viral sound and you click onto it and they're not really getting that many views on it. And I have noticed when I've used these sounds, it hasn't done as well as if I had chosen a more viral sound that's done better for people. Now another thing to think about when you're posting is your time. You need to know a good time and when your customers are online. For me, this is around 3 o'clock. You want to post just before most of your followers are online so that you can get a bit of traction before they're all on. I strongly advise changing over to a business Instagram to do this because it'll show you all the analytics and it'll show you exactly when your audience are online. Another tip when it comes to posting is make sure you post at the time. Sometimes people can make the reels and then put them into drafts and then post them at a later time. You can do this if you need to, but you want to make sure that that sound is as viral as possible at the time. Tomorrow it might not be viral anymore. Personally, I will make the time to post and find that viral time at the time of posting because viral content can change every day. When you've made all your content and you've posted your reel, make sure you are going to do this last step I'm going to tell you. So you've probably got a few likes and a few views on your reel. And what you want to do is you want to go into that reel and you want to look firstly at any comments that you've got. So any comments that you've had on that reel, you want to click on them customers and message them about your products and about what you do. If you've got a website or an Etsy, you want to send them the link to that, or you just want to let them know that you are selling stuff. Maybe you're just selling just on Instagram and they can purchase through that. Just let them know what you're doing. If you're not getting any comments, then look at your likes. So you can look at your likes and who's liked your items, and you can also message them people that have liked your reel and let them know about your products again. And one more way I would say to message customers is people who have followed you, like new followers. So followers, especially followers that have recently followed you, what I would do is just message them and let them know what your business is about, and give them a link to your website because they're already an engaged customer. You just want to message them saying something about you, your business, and a link to where they can purchase. This has really changed my business this year. Whenever I want to have a sellout, this is what I do, and it really, really works. And I strongly advise that you do it too. Now, taking into consideration everything I've spoken about today, the main thing that you need to do is actually post and not be scared to post or worry about that reel not going viral. I've posted 2,080 posts on Instagram and most of them would not have done as well as I wanted them to. But you have to post to get to that viral content. Making sure you're posting regularly will get you seen, but it's not just about that. It's about learning. You will never learn if you don't start today. I've got to where I am because I've done this day in, day out. Every time that I do a reel, I might learn something different about the next time I come to film that content. If you don't start, you're never gonna learn. This is why when people say you need to be consistent, it's so important. It isn't just about constantly posting and everybody seeing that content because you're posting so much. It's when you do that, you're gonna keep learning something different every time. This has worked for every single aspect of my business. If you don't start, you'll never make that viral content and you'll never get to where you wanna be on Instagram or with your business. I've had hundreds of reels not do well where I've tried something new. And don't get me wrong, like I said before, I am quite sensitive and it just makes me feel like, oh, why did I even bother? But you have to get up and keep doing it. Just make sure you're telling yourself, yeah, that failed, but I've learned something from it. Every time you're going to learn something from it. You know not to use that style of reel again, and you can move on to the next thing. Sometimes I've spent hours on making a certain kind of content and it's just done absolutely nothing. You're going to have to fail hundreds of times to find that one viral thing that is going to grow your business and give you thousands of followers. That's what always happens with me. I'll make lots of things and I'll get a few views here, a few views there, but then there'll be one post or one video or one reel that just really helps my business. And this is the same for everybody who uses free platforms to grow their business. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what videos you'd like to see in the future, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.